Be anonymous. He couldn't be anonymous in Ireland in the 70s and 80s. Like when I was growing up, or I suppose when I went abroad and I told people, say, where are you from? You have a funny accent or whatever. I'm Irish. Yeah, well, you're not really Irish. Where are you really from? Even when you went away to England, you still weren't considered Irish because I didn't have red hair and freckles. It's like you can't really be Irish. Where are you really from? Cork. Really from? Even when you went away to England, you still weren't considered Irish because I didn't have red hair and freckles. It's like you can't really be Irish. Where are you really from? Cork. But it was, and then of course, again, you're asking your question. People might say to you, well, how can you be Irish, or if you look like you're a bit African and you should know your roots. So sometimes people would get angry with you then. How can you go around saying you're Irish and when you know you're not? And you were like, but I don't know. Oh, there's a big change now. When I left, I kind of ran out of here when I was 19, 20. I never thought I'd come back. I was never going to come back, and I was never going to bring up kids in this place. But we did eventually, and you just can't compare it, People don't even look at me anymore. Ireland has come a long way since I grew up, and it's all very positive. And may it continue like that, really. That the Irish people be more open-minded and more, I don't know what the word is, accepting.
She don't know what the word is, accepting. She don't know what the word is, accepting, huh? Gotta dig in that history. You gotta dig in that history. The Irish slaves. Slavery, indenture, contract labor among Irish immigrants. Who's the Irish immigrants? Matter of fact, who was the first Irish people? Ooh. Who was the first Irish people? That's the better question. Who was the first Irish people? Who was the first Irish people? Britons, King of Scots, Irish. Who was the first Irish people? See, this is where it started to get interesting. Right here. Because now you got so-called Black Irish of Jamaica. The so-called Black Irish of Jamaica. Who was the first slaves out there? Who was the first slaves out there in Jamaica? Who was the first Irish people? Dark complexion Moorish people. The Irish and Scots are the same people. The Scots are a tribe from northeast Ireland. This is where it get interesting at. Because history in these school systems didn't lie to us about everything. This is where it started to get interesting. Then you come right over here to this book right here. So-called Negro rulers of Scotland and the British Isles. What this talking about? Let's go right here. This is where it started getting interesting at. Do a little history and find out who was the first Irish people and what complexion were those people. Because Europeans swear that they the first Irish people. That's not true. Nothing could be further from the truth, though. But let's dig in. What it say? It say all European museums show fake European portraits of leaders. What? All European museums be showing fake portraits? All of them show fake portraits. Imitating the once Moorish rulers of Europe, because we're not black people. See, it's not Black History Month. Black means pale. We not pale. We various copper complexion beings. We're not pale. So let's put all this together. All European museums got fake portraits up in there. Fake leaders imitating the once Moorish rulers of Europe. What it say? It say nearly every Moorish portrait of Europe's darker domineers have been whitened. or over painted to fabricate world history. What? Oh, wow. So you trying to tell me that all European portraits in all of the museums have all been fabricated? All of them. All of them? All of them. They did not look like European hybrids. None of those leaders, none of those kings, none of those queens was pale-skinned European complexion. None of them. None of them kings and queens in Europe was pale-skinned Europeans. No, sir. Then you say you want some receipts. Yeah, you want some receipts? Okay. You want some receipts, huh? All right. Watch this. You say you want some receipts, huh? Let's go right here. You say you want some receipts, huh? Okay. You want some receipts? Let's go get some receipts then. Let's get some receipts then. Let's get some visual aids. Okay. Let's get some visual aids. Okay. Let's go to Malcolm the First. He was a Moor. What was he out of? He was out of, his two sons were Kenneth Dub and Kenneth II, who also ruled Scotland. His name was Malcolm the First. Kenneth the Dub, that's his father, a Moor. Wait a minute. You got Indolf, the Christian converted Moorish king Indolf, the son of Constantine II, ruled Scotland AD 954 to 962. What? He was defeated by the Danish king Eric. He was a Moor. Talking about the Vikings. You talking about the Danes. You talking about Moorish blood. You talking about Moors fighting against each other. You want some more receipts? Let's go. Kenneth the Niger. We just did his father, Malcolm the First. The Christian Moorish converted Pictish King Kenneth the Niger. See that? So when you ask yourself, what's in the name? You think that these Europeans is really the Irish people? Moorish people are the first people on the planet of everything. Dark complexion, olive, light to dark complexion. Moorish people. Peace, Moors. Moorish peoples. That's why it's Moorish. Ish means pertaining to Moors. Bing bong. So then we go right here with it. You want some more receipts? No problemo. You said you want some more receipts, huh? Okay. Then you go right here. That was Kenneth. That's Cullen. Where was he out of? Where was he out of? He was killed. He killed his blood cousin, Kenneth the Niger, and became ruler. You see how our own people don't trust our own people? Because if you look at history, Kenneth the Niger, he was the king. His own cousin murked him for the throne. His own cousin murked him. See that? His own cousin, Cullen, killed his own cousin, who was Kenneth the Niger. And you look at why people don't be having love for their own people. It's a lot of backstabbing. It's a lot of under the table shit going on, and it's been going on. It's the same things that's going on today have gone on in the past. It's nothing new under the sun. So Cullen MacIndolphs murked his own cousin, Kenneth the Niger, to get the throne. Continued to flow veins of Scottish British kings even until this day. Queen Elizabeth II is a descendant of Cullen MacIndolph. Let's keep going. Receipts. There go Kenneth II. There he is. Kenneth II, the son of Malcolm I MacDonald. Check that name out. People be asking, what's in the name? MacDonald. Anytime you see Mac or Mick, what does it mean? It means son of a dark-skinned warrior. So McDonald's, Huh? MacAlpine. When you see somebody with a Mackenzie, those have meanings. Son of a dark-skinned warrior. The king was the father of Malcolm II and one daughter. Hold up. You talking about receipts. So let's go right here real quick. So you got Constantine III, Kenneth III. All these are Moorish people. Right. McQueen. Those are titles or names of meaning Moorish people. Kenneth IV, Malcolm II. All these are Moorish people. All these are Moorish people. Duncan I. He was the ruler of Scotland. AD 1034, 1040 AD. A Moorish man. MacAlpine. See? Macbeth. You know that story about Macbeth? Macbeth ruled Scotland 1040 to 1057. All these are Moorish people. So look at Hollywood. What Hollywood done? Hollywood lied about everything. They lied about everything. Malcolm III, Matilda, David, all these are Moorish people. All the kings and queens you could name that's over there in Europe was all Moorish. There he is again. Malcolm again. Alexander III. Look at that. Marjorie. She's Moorish. The Moorish Countess, Marjorie, was a dark-skinned Pictish woman, 1256, 1292 AD. The daughter of Niger, the Earl of Carrack, who was a son of Dunachad. Same as Duncan, meaning swarthy. Swarthy means dark complexion. See? Dark-skinned warrior. You see what's going on? You know that name, Robert the Bruce? Robert the Bruce was a Moor. You see what's going on in history? See, this is why you got to dig in history, and then you got to see what's going on. Robert the First, he's a Moor. David II, Moor. Robert II Stuart, another Moor. Swarthy. Sir John Stuart. Look at his face. Look at his face. Look at his face. Does he look pale? Does he look pale? Does he have a pale skin complexion? No, sir. He's Moorish. Look, fam. Hold up. You see this? Edward III. Look at his complexion. A Moorish king. Ruler of England. 1327 to 1377. We talking about Moorish people, man. Everything in Hollywood they didn't put out in the movies been lies. When it comes to history. All lies. Edward, the so-called Black Prince. Edward of Woodstock was the elder son of Edward III. Moor. Another Moor. You said it was King James? There you go. Said James the First. James the First, a so-called Negro, Catholic, Moorish, Scottish king, James I Stuart, was a son of Robert III. James the First? There's James III. A Moorish Scottish King James III. Son of King James II. There he is. You see what? You look at the timelines. 1451. We talking about 1451 AD. All of these are Moorish people. Hold up. There he is again. There's his other son. Look at the complexion, Moors. So-called Negro, Catholic, Moorish, Scottish King James V. We talking about our people, but our people been great and our people been terrible. Great and terrible. There's Henry. There's Anne. See her? Another Moorish woman. All this is over here. This is in Scotland and the British Isles. You look at the graphic. You got Moors on a horse with the Moorish army. You said, could it be? Could it be the same King James? Could it be the same King James? There go Elizabeth I. Remember, all of history has been whitewashed. European face has been put on there. The Protestant Elizabeth I was the second daughter of Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. She succeeded her scornful half-dark-skinned Spaniard sister, Mary I, Bloody Mary, in 1558 AD. You talking about the Stuarts of Scotland, descendants of Kenneth the Niger, great-grandmother Margaret Beaufort. We talking about Moorish blood. We talking about our people. But they got our people thinking that we was just slaves. Like we came over here on some kind of slave boat. Nah, we didn't come over here on no slave boats like they try to tell us we did. No, sir. Mary of Scots. There you go again. The Roman Catholic Mary of Scots, who loved to wear black garments, was the daughter of the Scottish King James V, who was a descendant of Fergus Moore. Mary of Scots. Receipts. They love saying where the receipts at. Where the proof at? We time traveling right now. We talking about swarthy Moors over there in England, Scotland, the British Isles. This is what we talking about. This is what we talking about. You see how they try to hide everything? So they want to hide everything and they want to put pale complexions on our people. This is what they want to do. But it's over with for that now. They go. You was talking about King James again? You talking about King James? Moorish King James? There he is. The son of Henry and Mary Stuart, whose bloodline stretched all the way back to the Pictish Scottish King Kenneth the Niger. We talking about the King of Scotland. You ever seen that movie? You ever seen that movie, King of Scotland? There he is. King James? There he is. Hold up. You said you want some receipts, didn't you? You say you want some receipts? What it say right there? What it say? It says, his name is the most well-known of all European kings, since he authorized the King James Version, quote unquote, of the Bible, and named it after himself. His 6 foot dark-skinned, big-nosed wife, Anne of Denmark, who praised her darkness and the beauty of being Moorish, became the mother of 7 children. King James and wife Anne are the ninth great grandparents of Elizabeth II. Who we talking about? We talking about Moors. This so-called colored king was the first to unite the British Isles and Scotland, which then became Great Britain. Bing bong. He was a Moorish king. So the writer of the actual King James Version Bible was a Moorish king. That's why I said we did a lot of great things and a lot of terrible things. It wasn't all just good. Nah, it wasn't all just good though. It wasn't all just good though. So look at this then. So look at this then. Right? Watch this. We talking about history. Look at this then. So watch this. Then you come right back here. What is that? You come right back here. And what is that? What does it say right here? Turn that up. It say, this truth is widely acknowledged throughout Europe, Asia, and some parts of Africa, but has not reached the shores and textbooks of the United States. What? A nation that heavily frowns upon so-called black success, frightened with fear at the very thought of their own civilization deriving from the very people they are continuously persecuting. What? What? So that means these Europeans that's outside, they not Americans and they know where they came from. We got to start knowing where we came from. And we got to start being active on that. That's why I said peace, Moors. Ain't no black nothing. Ain't nothing black. Let's go. Then you come right here with it. And then you say, the Moorish so-called Negroes began to lose their power grip in Europe from the Renaissance to the French Revolution, AD 1789. And then you come right back over here. And then you see the French main use of the guillotine was to behead the dark-skinned Moorish so-called Negro aristocrats. A fact that movie producers and scholars have misinformed the world about. They've misinformed the world. But that time over with now. That time is over with now. Why is it over? Because we on these beam outs. I see Moors beaming out all around. That's what's up. Keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on. Because the more we keep beaming out, the more information gonna spread out. That's what they don't want. But they can't stop it. They can't stop it. They can't stop it. So it say this. It say those who believe this manipulative hoax are in cahoots with an old continuous international conspiracy to erase Moorish people from the pages of history. Wow. They trying to literally erase us from the pages of history, but you can't do it. We left too much information on the planet. It say, in the British Isles of the late 20th century, history books involving the African contribution of Europe were prohibited from entering the United States. What? With the exception of those texts which only exemplified slavery, savagery, crime, and poverty. Nah, we starting to see like, oh no. Oh no, this is why they always pumping out slave movies. They always pumping out slave movies in the form of genocide. And our people don't realize it's genocide. It's not just entertainment. No, sir. It's not entertainment. It's programming. It's propaganda. You looking at your own people get beat, whipped, chained, all kind of raped, all kind of things that's going on. And that stuff wasn't going on with our people like that. It was going on, but it wasn't going on with our people like that. You want some receipts? You want some receipts? Okay. Check it out. Check it out. Hold up. Check it out. It say, around 1500 BC, Europe, let's go right here. Europe gradually changed from an all Moorish populous inhabitant to a multiracial continent. 1500s. We going back to the 1500s, Moors. We ain't talking about 1492. See, we got to bridge this gap. When we thinking we got brought over here as some kind of slaves or something. We was already running the planet. But our own people sold out our own people into bondage because they was greedy and they wanted that profit. You know what I'm saying? They was out for that bread. See? They was out for that bread. So look, it say every European nation prior to the presence of Europeans was ruled by the indigenous Africans who were called the Moors. Just let that one just soak in a little bit. Let that one just soak in a little bit. I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm gonna just leave that one right there. Just let that one soak in. So when they say every European nation prior to the presence of Europeans was ruled by the indigenous Africans who were called Moors? What? Hold up. So it say, wait a minute. Wait, hold on. It say every European nation prior to the presence of Europeans was ruled by indigenous Africans who were called Moors. Who you think you are? Who you think you are? This is why they don't tell our people who we really are. Because they don't know what we gonna do. With all this information and all these lies, you got people on both sides that's playing both sides. Wow. You got people on both sides playing both sides. Wow. Look, that's why they don't teach this in school. Because they like, hey man, look, if these people ever find out that they ain't black and they really Moorish people, I don't know what they gonna do to us. I don't know what they gonna do. Because Prophet Noble Drew Ali said it's gonna be in a conflict. It's gonna be in a conflict that can't even be put into words. It's gonna be a conflict. They can't be put into words. So when they say, hey, what's gonna happen? It's not, you can't put it in words. What's gonna happen? You can't put it in words. So look, let me bring that back. Feeling that. Look, what it say? So it said, during their dominance of Europe, talking about Moors, the powerless Europeans gradually increased their population to become Europe's majority, but lacked the social structure to find equality among their Moorish superiors. The Moorish monarchs of Europe brutally inflicted a cruel slave apartheid upon the disadvantaged and innocent Europeans. See, we was enslaving our own people, and we was enslaving Europeans. See, this is the bad part of history. This is the bad. This is some of the bad. Because people will get it twisted and they'll be like, no, Moors was all good. No, sir. And keep in mind, anybody that thinks that they're a so-called black person, you are Moorish descent. You Moorish descent. So it wasn't all good when somebody said they was a Moor and then they was on apartheid, slavery. Nah, keep in mind, Moors are any dark complexion, light to dark complexion being on the planet. You're a Moor. So look, right here. Then you come right here and you see evidence. Check it out. I'm talking about big pictures. How is this Europe's coat of arms? This is symbolizing royalty. Look at that. The earliest symbols of the Piet Scottish tribes, Irish, British, German, Austrian, French, and the rest of Europe's coats of arms were originally images of so-called Negro Moorish race. What you saying? What you were saying? What you were saying? All of Europe. The oldest images, what that say? Blackmore? Black is the adjective. Moor is the noun. Put it together. It's called a compound word. Come on, man. You got 3 Moors on the shield. What you mean? You got 3 Moors on the shield. And all of Europe's coat of arms was originally Moorish. Receipts. I mean, they be asking for receipts, though. I ain't got no problem giving you no receipts. Moors I rock with ain't got no problem giving you no receipts. We ain't got no problem giving you no receipts. What you need? What you need, fam? Hold up. You say you need some receipts? Okay. You need some receipts? All right. Well, there's another one. Blackmore family crest. Now check these names. Remember how we was talking about them names? Macmillan, Macbeth. All right. So-called Irish names, right? Right? So-called Irish names. Check it out. The so-called Irish names, right? Okay. Look at the names. Omar. Hold up. Oh, look at that. It said O'More, Colmore, Mordant, Bauer, Gilham, Grunham, Fainham, Andrews. These are all names that come under the Blackamoor family crest. Agus, Christie, Lindsay, Bueller, Bushworth, Ashford, Borshwick, Dobson, Den, Ag, Haynes. Any of these names ring a bell? Monson, Norley, Person or Pearson, Halberton, Seymour, Shirley, Tanner, Soame, Agus, Haggis, Stewart, and many more. Each of the above identities, long before names were standardized, was spelled in various forms over 60 different ways. Any of these names ring a bell right here? Peace Moors. Peace Moors. Let's go. Any of these names ring a bell? Do any of these names ring a bell? I mean, we talking about receipts. Because you talking about McDub, son of a so-called black man, or so-called black man's son, Macduff. Moore, a black, so-called black or dark-skinned person. So again, receipts. If you identifying as black, then you should be identifying as your proper name. And that's a Moor. Black is an adjective. Black is not a name. It describes the noun. Compound word. Piet, a warlike, dark-skinned Scotsman who wore tattoos. How many of y'all got tattoos out there with a name like McDub, McDowell, McDougal, McAlpine, Colby, Kerwin, Kern, Ja Morant, Morant? Can't get away from it. You can't get away from the more science. Morant. You can't get it's in the names. It's in the names. Peace, Ja. Then you come right over here with it. And you see like the names, and you like, hold up, wait a minute. How's these names going all crazy like that? How these names going all crazy like that? Look at that. Vocabulary. This is Gaelic. The language, so-called Irish language, so-called Gaelic language, which is really a Moorish language. Look, black, very dark, a Moor. I'm going to leave it right there. You can see it yourself. Take a screenshot. There it is. Get a screenshot right there. Black, very dark, a Moor. What about Blackbird? What about Blackbird? Bronson, son of a so-called black man, a Moorish man, Celtic. Cullen, coal, dark. What's dark? Black, Negro, or a Moor. What? Oh yeah, you said Donovan? You said Donovan, didn't you? Hold on, you said Donovan? Bing bong. Donovan, a so-called black or brown warrior. A Moor. Come on, man. Come on, man. These ain't my words. This is history. These ain't my words. So if your last name Donovan, you a Moor. Your name lets you know that you a Moor. Donald, Donnelly, Donald, Dooley, Dougal, Doug, Doug Hall, Douglas, Dove, Doyle, Dole, Down, Donna. You said, what about bird? I see a blackbird right there. Spelled different. Don't forget. Just because the spelling is different doesn't change the whole demonstration. Doesn't change the demonstration. Blackbird right there. Duncan, Dunn, Dwayne, James, Duffy, Dublin. What? I'm just skimming through. Right now. That's all. You said Lindsay? It's all kind of names in here. I don't see Lindsay, but it's all kind of names in here. All kind of names in here. Get this book right here. So-called Negro rulers of Scotland. So-called Negro rulers of Scotland. Get that. Get that. Get this right here. So look. This is why you got to dig into history. Then we come right back here. We come right back here to this book by Lee Cummings. All right. Get this book right here by Lee Cummings. Let's go. You ready? Remember we was talking about in the beginning? We talking about Irish slaves. The first Irish people were dark complexion people and not Europeans. You ever wonder, have you ever listened to an Irish person? Have you ever been around an Irish person and heard them speak their language? And then you listen to that, and then you actually was around somebody from Yard, Jamaica, and then you listen to how they sound, and then you listen to how somebody from Ireland sound or Scotland sound. You can hear the sound, and it's like they kind of like favor each other with the sound. They kind of fake sound Jamaican. How is that? How can people from over there sound like people in Jamaica? How? Or Barbados. How can they sound like that? You know how? Because they're the same people. They're the same people. The Moors from over there, when Oliver Cromwell was selling out his own people, we gonna go into that. Let's go into that. Coming out of the book right here. Get a screenshot. So all of the so-called Irish people, Islam more, all the so-called Irish, Scottish, British people, they were all originally Moorish people, dark complexion beings. So then when we come right here with it, we got so-called Black Irish of Jamaica. What? The Irish and Scots are the same people? The Scots are a tribe from Northeast Ireland. How many Jamaicans do you know right now? They have a name like Mackenzie, Macintosh. Think. Same people. Those are Moorish names from over there in Europe, because the Europeans originally were dark-skinned complexion Moors. That's what they not going to tell you. History books ain't going to tell you that from the schools. You got to get history books outside of the schools. Take them home, study those. This is why you got to have multiple books. This is why Moors, when we be talking, we be studying, fam. We be going hard, G. We be going so hard because we didn't research. Painstaking research. We didn't look shit up. We ain't just out here just talking. We ain't just out here just bumping our guns. We didn't look things up. So when you talking about, right, the Irish moss, the sea moss, and all that, where you think that come from? That come from Moorish people. Right. McNeil, O'Neill. Right. MacArthur, Macbeth, McQueen. All those are Moorish names. Right. Right. So look, what it say? This picture was taken in it was published in 1932. This picture right here. Look what it say. It says, this way it get crazy at. It says, these are some of the so-called Black Irish, which is really Moorish Irish, that came here on slave ships directly from Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, the Scots, Irish, or Welsh Brits are the same people. According to Boyd Dawkins, our earliest ancestors, when the English invaded England, 449 AD, they pushed the so-called Black English west into Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. This is where we had conflict. Banging against each other, enslaving each other for power and control. Whole time, look, Mr. Boyd Dawkins further states that by 677 AD, the Europeans now call themselves English. The Europeans, while we fighting each other, enslaving each other and enslaving Europeans at the same time, these Europeans clicked up. Now they start calling themselves white people. You see? Then they start calling themselves English. See what's going on? You see what was going on? This is the little separation that started to happen. Look, it says now the Europeans that start calling themselves English people. They just start calling themselves Irish people. Check it out though. Then you come right here. Then you see like, hold up. It say they have pushed these so-called blacks onto a land that cannot sustain them. Whoever you are on the other side of this book, this is the real history of the world. What you have been taught and exposed to is pure nonsense. The so-called royals and the elite read from a different set of books. They read these type of books. While they give you the watered down version of history, talking about these school systems giving us the watered down versions, it say that's why they have royal libraries and national archives. They walk around with the real wealth of earth, wisdom, while we, our people, common people, walk around with the lies. See that? That shit dead now though. How is it dead, G? How is it dead? Because we out here building now. We out here learning. We out here spreading light around now. See? We out here spreading that light around now. This is what they ain't want to happen. Nah, they ain't want this. They ain't want this to click up like that. Nah, they ain't want that. It's too late though. It's a Moorish tidal wave. It's too late though. See, they go to the archives, the royal libraries. So they be like, hey, look, they ain't gonna show images like this though. Same book. Same book though. So the Irish people, the original Irish, were not Europeans. They were dark complexion Moorish people. See? Oliver Cromwell. Look him up. As you can see, there was an attempt to, see that? White out this so-called black Irishman. See, the Moorish Irishman, they tried to whiten his face up. This is from the Irish Library. Irish History, the Irish Rebellion, 641. This is receipts. See, they tried to whiten his face up. That's some more though. Dark complexion. Dark complexion. Whole time, look. Let's put it to the test. Let's put it to the test. Where you at? Let's put it to the test. Let's put it to the test.
You taste the nutmeg in it.
That's what it is.
Come on.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. Left me now, not bother me no more, brethren. Fuck off.
Left me no bother me no more, brethren, fuck off.
Yeah.
Sounds like Siri.
That
was gas. You have to just slow it down just a touch.
Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah, because we got
Just put it a little bit higher. Should I do it in a Cork accent?
Let's do it from Cork.
Okay, these Europeans right here, they're from Ireland. Those Moors over there, they from Yard. So they're comparing the so-called Irish accent with the so-called Jamaican accent. Check it out. J Trap, peace, Moore.
Trying to cook it.
Yeah,
Okay. So left me now, no bother me no more, brethren. Fuck off.
Left me no. No bother me. No bother me no more, brethren.
Fuck off. And then I'm gonna do the next one. Aye, gal, all the man in here, I feel me, so watch yourself now. I swear to God, this is the Cork accent we're doing it in as well.
So Cork, so I'm from Cork. So
Yeah.
we need the
Now we go back right here. And then we see like, hold
He's
up.
from Jamaican.
Yeah.
What happened to all Donovan brothers? What happened? Yeah, right.
Because you're from Cork, and
but
in
we
Cork,
got a
the
little
music,
bit
the accent goes up at the end, so it's quite musical as well. So when people sound like they're from Cork, they go up like that at the end.
Like that. They'll be like, how are you going?
Oh, I'm fine, bye, how are you? Yeah. Lovely.
He actually sounded up in Jamaican.
Don't that sound wild though?
Or they call the brothers.
Yeah, Donovan brother.
Good.
Don't it sound wild?
Jamaican.
Yeah.
What happened to all Donovan brothers? What happened? Yeah, right.
Because you're from Cork, and
but
in
we got
Cork,
a
the
little
music,
bit
the accent goes up at the end, so it's quite musical as well. So when people sound like they're from Cork, they go up like that at the end.
Like that. They'll be like, how are you going?
Oh, I'm fine, bye, how are you? Yeah.
See that right there? See? How is that possible? How is that possible that Europeans out here sounding semi-like people from Jamaica? How is that possible? Because Europeans were being taken and put into Jamaica, Barbados, the so-called West Indies. They was taken out of where they was at. Let's go. Hold up. Let's go. Let's go right here. Hold up. Let's go right here. Then you come right back here. You come right back to it. Hold up. Where we at, man? And you come right back to it. These pictures right here speak 1,000 words. The so-called Irish Library, Irish History, 1641 Rebellion. Who was the ones that was rebelling? The ones that was rebelling was dark complexion, Moorish women and Moorish men. You see that? You see? Europeans were slaves. And our people was enslaving our own people for selfish gain. Woodcut of 655, illustrating barbarous and inhumane proceedings of the 1641 rebellion. We was rebelling. See that? Then you go to the Irish Library. Look at the complexion of this woman right here. Look at their complexion. They're dark complexion Moors. Look. Need some receipts? The so-called Moorish Irish that, hold up. It says the Moorish Irish that came into Jamaica had two places of origin, either Ireland or Barbados. Close to 300,000 so-called Moorish came directly from Ireland, and the rest came from Barbados. Come on, man. Come on, Moors. Over 300,000 so-called black Irishmen and Irish women who are really Moorish Irishmen and Moorish Irish women. They was coming from the slave trade. From Oliver Cromwell. They was being pulled from Europe. And don't forget, Europe was all Moorish. The dominant numbers in Europe were Moorish people. The dominant people in Europe was the Moors. Yo, what is you saying? And then you come right here with it. Receipts. Look, 70% of all so-called black slaves on the island of Barbados came from Ireland. Let me throw some ink on that. Hold up. We gotta throw some ink on that. Let me throw some ink on that one. Hold up. Let me throw some ink on that one. That's highlight worthy right there. That's highlight worthy right there. Let me throw some ink on that one. Hold up. Let me throw some ink on that one. You said what now? Hold up. You said what now, fam? You said 70% of all so-called black slaves on the island of Barbados came from Ireland. And then when we see so-called Europeans sounding like this, we like, what? Now we starting to see like, yeah.
What the old Donovan brothers? What? Yeah, right.
Because you're from, what are they called, the brothers?
Yeah, Donovan brothers.
See, even that they sound Jamaican.
Yeah.
What the old Donovan brothers? What? Yeah, right.
Because you're from Cork, and in Cork, the music, the accent goes up at the end, so it's quite musical as well. So when people sound like they're from Cork, they go up like that at the end.
Like that, they'd be like, how are you going?
Well, I'm fine, bye, how are you? Yeah. Lovely.
He actually sounded over Jamaican.
Okay, so what we're gonna do?
What? So the Europeans, they was brought up in there underneath Moors who were enslaved. So you had Moors who were selling their own people out, enslaving their own people, reducing them to be slaves. Meanwhile, you had Europeans at the same time being enslaved in Barbados, Haiti, Jamaica, all through the so-called Caribbean. You had bondage. People were being reduced to chattel property. That's why I say it wasn't all good with Moors. And Moors, again, anybody who thinks that they're a so-called dark-skinned complexion black person, that's a misnomer. Your real name, your free national name is Moor. Receipts. In 1925 census of Jamaica, there were 916,000 people. 916,000 people on the island, and only 2% were Europeans. What? This oversight on the part of world historians to include these so-called black Europeans in the North Atlantic slave discussion went unnoticed for the past 400 years. The invention of genetics plus the record of the eyewitnesses was the key to discovering the missing link between history and genetics. Wow. These are images. These are images. These are images. Honduras. Look. All this is the Americas, Moors. All of this is the Americas. So you had our own people selling out their own people over here in Europe. And keep in mind, Europe was not ran by Europeans. It was ran by the royal families of Moors. The royal families over here was Moorish people. King Charles I, King George, and all of that, so on and so on. Queen Charlotte, she's a Moabite, a Moabitess, a Moorish queen, Queen Charlotte. Queen Charlotte Sophia. Then you had all of the Moors over here because of what was happening from apartheid. See, apartheid, from us putting Europeans in bondage and our own people in bondage, more so Europeans, enslaving them, the laws of retribution kicked in. So then you had the French Revolution. So during that French Revolution time period, 1500s and all that, you had all this going on and it was being shipped from over here, Ireland. See, all this is connected. All this was Moorish. You had this right here happening. You had Europeans being deported over here by the boatloads, coming over here, Islam. And they were being deported over here, over there, DR, Hispaniola, the Bahamas, all this land over here, and the Americas. See, and up here, Not just over here in Central America, not just over here, North America and South America. The key is America. The Americas is the Al-Moroccan Empire. But you had our own people doing us dirty. This is why it's hard for our people to trust each other. Because a lot of stuff has happened within our own people. And down here in so-called Africa, they was shipping out our own people over here to the same places, which is over here. This is why you got so many dark-skinned Brazilians that they don't show on TV. They only show the lighter complexion ones. But you have a lot of dark complexion Brazilians. A lot of dark complexion Brazilians and South Americans. You over here? Nicaragua, Honduras, Belize, Guatemala. See? All over here. Panama, Costa Rica. All this is Moorish lands and Moorish people. But the school system is not going to teach us none of this. They're going to keep lying to us. That's why so-called Europeans, Irish, they think that they was the first Irish people. You wasn't the first Irish people. You was not the first Irish people. The first Irish people were dark complexion. You want some receipts? Here you go. What you said you want some receipts, didn't you? All right. Said you want some receipts, huh? All right. Let's go. You said you want some receipts, huh? This is what you said? This is what you said, didn't you? You said you wanted some receipts, huh? All right. This is what you said. Let's go to Ireland. Let's go back to Ireland again. What did it say? The so-called Black Earls of Ireland. Image of Earl Gilbert de Clare, 1138, 1141. Look at him. 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 This is the Clare coat of arms. What's that about? What's that about? The Clare coat of arms, the image of Gilbert, the Earl of Clare, Hertford, Ireland, can currently be found in the St. Mary, the Virgin Church, Tewkesbury, in the English county of Gloucestershire. Not only is this so-called Black Irish Earl, which is really Moorish Irish Earl, being depicted as a Moorish man, but his coat of arms depicts him as a Moor. There he is. Coat of arms means nobles. You think Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't know what he was talking about? Come on, man. Come on, man. Prophet Noble Drew Ali knew exactly what he was talking about. That's why he told us to go back to that state of mind of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. Peace and love to the prophet. You know what I'm saying? He told us to go back to that state of mind. And then when you talking about Jamaica, real fast. When you talking about Jamaica, what did it say? Jamaican independence is not accidental. And as they thrive to their fullest, it must be from the strength rooted in the Arawaks and West African forefathers, collectively called the Moorish. Listen, it's a Moorish tidal wave, man. It's a Moorish tidal wave. It's nothing else out here. It's nothing else out here. It's nothing else to go over there and try to be something else. Nah, just be yourself. You be yourself, you start opening up information like, damn, this Moorish information is strong. Yes, sir. Super strong. So when you talking about Moorish information, you got to put this shit together. And you like, wait a minute. How can this keep happening to our people where we like getting led to the slaughterhouse? Because we not going to the right information. The right information is Moorish information. Because this is our history. You talking about 300,000 so-called Black Irish came directly from Ireland to Barbados? Come on, man. 70% of all so-called black slaves on the island of Barbados came from Ireland. This is why we sound like that all over the place. Watch this though. This is what Cromwell was on. See, Cromwell, this nigga was like, look, he say, those who fail to transplant themselves to Connaught or Clar within 6 months shall be guilty of high treason. You will then be sent into America or some other part beyond the sea. This is what started to happen. They wanted to denounce Earl. They wanted to denounce Earl because he was Moorish blood. And he was like, hey, look, y'all got 6 months. Either get with this program or you finna get sent to America. Right? He say, this is what the people that transported themselves to Clar look like. The image of the Earls of Clare or Clar, their coat of arms, and the etiquette of Cromwell is further proof. The so-called Black Irish were sent to the Americas. Bing bong. See? This is how we have all these different sounds, all these different cultures and whatnot, but it's all mixed in together because we from all over the place. This is how you would have a European sounding like he speak patois. How can a European sound like that? Because we was bringing Europeans by the boatloads to Barbados, to Jamaica, to Haiti, to the Dominican Republic, to the Puerto Rican island, Hispaniola. We was bringing slaves from everywhere. From everywhere. Everywhere. This is why we from everywhere. Moorish Americans. Moorish Americans. The ish attached to Moor is pertaining to. This is why we're Moorish. Moorish Irish. Moorish German. Moorish Trinidadian. Moorish Bodikin. It's in the name. It's in the name. So then you come right here. Look. Hold up. Then you come right here. You come right here. You say, remember, the Irish were Moors in the 1600s. So all those revolts and all that was going on, 1641 rebellions and all that, they be talking about the Irish was wild as hell. Yeah, the Moors was Irish. We was wild as hell. Because we ain't want to get confined to slavery. So we was rebelling. We was banging out. And the people that was banging out was dark complexion people. Moorish people. See? The so-called English. See? This is what they was doing. So don't fall for it when you just think the so-called European and all that wasn't on nothing. And we was just on everything. Nah, we was enslaving our own people for power, for control. You know? We was doing all kind of just hideous shit. We was doing so much hideous shit. This is why the law of retribution kicked in. This is why the law of retribution kicked in. Hold up. You said the law of retribution? See, this will start to happen. Look. Check it out. Had today's so-called Negro avoided the process of being brainwashed concerning his own history, he would understand that over 3 millenniums ago, the so-called white man was under the Moorish man's supremacy and addressed the Moorish man as master, my lord, sir, and imperial his majesty. See, we start studying history like we need to, we'll see this information. But we got to dig for it ourselves, though. School system ain't going to teach us shit. They didn't prove that. They didn't prove that already. They ain't teaching us. When the last time you done heard somebody say that the so-called Irish people was really dark complexion Moors? When you heard that? When? You ain't gonna hear this in schools. That's why the prophet said we got to have our own schools. We got to have our own schools. Ain't no Europeans going to teach this history. Nah. No, sir. No, it say the Bible phrases which indicates that slaves should obey their masters were first deceivingly applied to the peasant Europeans by their so-called black masters, along with other scriptures. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal or lie, not bear arms for self-defense. Watch this though. These same misrepresented tactics were deceptively practiced upon the so-called Negro prior and after the African slave trade, a process used to perpetuate apartheid, which was invented by the so-called black masters of Europe. Damn. Damn. You know how they say? You know how they say what goes around comes around? It's why the prophet warned us again. He warned us, fam. He said, when you Moors get back on top, treat the European nicely. You can't get back on that shit again. Because what goes around comes around. You put something negative out there, oh, it's coming back. It's coming back. You put it out there, you enslave people again, oh, it's coming back on your ass. It's coming back. Don't worry about it. It's coming back. And that's what happened. We was enslaving Europeans and enslaving our own people, going batshit crazy over power. Allah like, what are y'all doing? You know what? We're going to reverse it. Apartheid. We're going to reverse what y'all doing and do it to y'all now. Fam. That's why you got to stand on something. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We got to stand for something. We ain't standing for nothing. You out here bogus, fam. You out here bogus. You ain't got no principles. You ain't got no standards. What you stand for? Look. Check it out. The same tactics that we applied to these Europeans, Allah switched them around and they got perpetuated against our own people that we finally starting to see and break up out of mental slavery. It was during the French Revolution, AD 1789, that ended the so-called Moorish power dominance in Europe. Book reference, time reference, book reference and time reference, 1789, that ended the so-called black power dominance in Europe. The oppressed Europeans took the law. You're talking about the pale Europeans, the pale-faced Europeans. So the oppressed pale-faced Europeans took law in their own hands and reversed the cruel art of apartheid to punish the very so-called blacks who invented its use. They just reversed it. There were many royal so-called black families, Moorish families, who remained in power by whitening themselves and their children to soften the rage of the pale-faced European revolutionists, a practice that continues to this day. What? It's a so-called blacks in Hollywood and other movie industries continue to whiten themselves to win the favor of pale-skinned Europeans. The so-called Negro Africans educated the world in science and writing. They mastered the 7 arts of civilization. So these people in Hollywood, when they whiten up their skin, they know what they doing. 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 Huh? They talking about keeping it from the public. This is the overall truth though. Hold up. The overall truth is that the African forefathers of the universe, whether called a nigger, Negro, or Moor, ingenuously pioneered the world from the Stone Age to the ultra structure of modern civilization. Bing bong. Moorish people pioneered this whole planet. And since we was on dirt mode, Allah switched it around. And we got done dirty. See? We got done dirty. When so-called Ethiopia and Egypt were at the peak of their cultural development, Europe was a wilderness. London, Paris, Athens, and Rome were swamplands and vacant sites. Damn. Damn. What? You want a fact though? What time is it? If I get up out of here. You want a fact? You want a fact though? Want them slap you in your face facts? It says 90, rather slap your pineal gland facts to wake up. 96% of all European and American filmmaking regarding a so-called European rule is fake. Damn. 96% of all pale-skinned European rule is a fake. It's all fake. It's all phony. It's all phony, man. It's what the world perceives as an old, pale European civilization was in reality Africoid. And Africoid is a code word for Moorish. The French essayist and moralist Jean de la Bruyere, 1645-1696, commented, saying, the exact contrary of what is generally believed is often the truth. Damn. Damn. Wow. We're gonna get into them blue bloods too later on. We're gonna get into them blue bloods later on though. But when they talk about slavery and all that, Cromwell, man, it wasn't just him either. Cromwell's Council of State ordered 1,000 Irish girls and 1,000 Irish boys to be rounded up, transported to Jamaica, and sold as slaves to English planters there. Cromwell. He was talking about Jamaica. Immigrants and exiles, Ireland and the Irish exodus to North America. We talking about records that date back to 1669. This how you got pale-faced Europeans that could speak Patois and all the other various dialects in the Moorish dominions, because we was transporting them over as slaves. See? Irish Catholics. But keep in mind, though, the first Irish were Moorish dark complexion people. Europeans came later and were transported. Says treatments of slaves that was the same as treatment of other plantations. Brutal. Irish slaves in Jamaica. It's an article called Irish Slaves in Jamaica. This description given by a visitor to a Jamaican plantation in 1687 of the punishment of striking an owner is recorded. They are nailed to the ground with crooked sticks on every limb, and then applied the fires by degrees from the heat, burning them gradually up to the head, whereby their pains were extravagant. Damn. We was doing that to our own people and Europeans. And Europeans, G. And this is where they lived at. This was where some of they lived at in Barbados. Look at that. That's where some of them lived at in Barbados. There's an actual picture of a slave house, Barbados. Sometimes the Irish who worked in the fields were given mulatto or so-called black overseers, who very often took great pleasure in treating them cruelly. So-called black overseers, beating their own people, treating them cruelly. See that? See what's going on? So when they talk about what was going on in Ireland and Europe and all that, it was our own people in charge that just got on that slave shit. Yeah? Got on that slave shit. You talking about something crazy? It say if they were not kidnapped or thrown into jail for false crimes, talking about Europeans, they were tricked into debt and then transported or plied with food and drink and convinced to sign papers they could not read and did not understand, and then held captive until the ship's arrival when they were stored in the hold. What? This is what they was doing. 12 years a slave? Was it 12, 13 years a slave? They tricked them, conned them, finessed them, got them off their shit, got them drunk, slapped. This is what they was doing. It says they were then usually branded with the initials of the owner on the forearm for the women and the buttocks for the man. The governor of Barbados wrote in 1665, and with no apparent sense of shame, that the Irish worked all day in the parching sun without shirt, shoe, or stocking, and were domineered over and used like dogs. Damn. Hey, man. What goes around come around, though. Then you talking about Europeans. They was talking about it. They was indentured servants. No, sir. The slaves were called red legs and white trash by the slave owners. The term red leg is often said to be due to the effect of the tropical sun on the fair skin of the poorly clothed servants. Talking about pale Europeans. But it was already a term in use at the time for an Irish military man. And Sir Edmund Spencer referred to the Irish as redshanks in his A View of the Present State of Ireland, published in 1598. Nevertheless, the fair-skinned Irish did suffer horribly from the heat. Irish slaves. Man. Fam. This, hey, man. We did our own people dirty. We did pale Europeans dirty. How do you change that dirt? You got to come clean. You got to come clean. How you come clean? Start right there. Let me know where y'all tuning in from. I'm finna slide, though. Show y'all these books before I get up out of here, though. Only way to come clean is to go right there. You got to go right there. If you ain't going right there, you ain't trying to get clean. You ain't trying to get clean. You ain't trying to get clean. You got to go right here to get clean. You got to have principles. Standards. Free national name. Shout out to Texas, Maryland, Detroit 313. Yes, sir. Shout out to the Rack. Southside, Wild Wild. Shout out to South Cal. North side, out west with it. East side, crazy. Where y'all at with it? Dearborn, Michigan. Mississippi in here. Jersey in here. Wisconsin in it. Yeah. Shout out to the West Coast. Florida. Shout out to Hartford, Connecticut. Yes, sir. Shout out to the BX. The BX Moors out there. Yes, sir. Shout out to the Bay. Shout out to VA. Shout out to the Prophet. High supreme honors to the Prophet. Noble Drew Ali. Shout out to Arizona. Khalifa Society. Peace to Liverpool, UK. Brooklyn. Islam. Shout out to the LBC. West Coast with it. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Yes, sir. LA. Georgia in here strong. Yes, sir. So I would say, you said how many books? You said how many books do you need? How many books? Shout out to San Antonio, Texas. Peace, more. I would say go to rvbaypublications.com, go to khalifamedia.com, go to Khalifa Society, go to Canaan Land Moors, go to riseofthemoors.org. I would say start at those websites and just fill your carts up with books at a time. And just start there. Get you a Black's Law 4th edition dictionary. Start there. You gotta have this dictionary right here. Because a lot of the older dictionaries are watered down. So you want to go with a 4th edition, maybe a 5th edition, but the 4th edition, you want to start in there. Get that. Yeah. You want to start in there. Start right here too if you can. Snatch this right here. Exhuming of a Nation. And a real rap though, a lot of these like websites, besides like Khalifa Media, riseofthemoors.org, besides them and Khalifa Society, besides those sites, it's a few others though. Those keep the prices where they should be. Good prices. But a lot of like Amazon and all that, it's good to get books from Amazon too. But they jacking the prices up because it's lit now. They see that it's lit and we starting to read a lot more now. So we knowing now. So they gonna jack the prices up because they trying to discourage us from knowing. That shit dead though. It's our time though. So they gonna be like, we gonna raise the price up on these books so they ain't gonna buy it. Nah, we learning. You know what I'm saying? Y'all Moors out there, link up, man. Get that body politic up. Body politic. Yes, sir. It's up, fam. Yeah. It's up, Moors. It's up now. It ain't going back down, fam. Don't even expect it to go back down because it ain't going there. It's not going back down. It ain't going back down. Peace, Kelly. It ain't going back down ever again, fam. You know what I'm saying? It's lit forever now. It's lit forever, G. It ain't never going back down. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. You out there, link up with the more Luca L, man. On the BX side. Link up. On God, we all we got. So we got to go hard. We got to go hard on the information. That's what the prophet said. He said, get active. Get active. Get active. Anybody that's talking that Native American, Indian shit, no, sir. This ain't India. Let me show you something. If I slide, man. Let me show you something. Just use your God-given common sense. Anybody out there. If you see this and you out there, just use your God-given common sense. We all got it. Okay? Basic geography. People either name the land after themselves or the land is named after them. Right? The land, they either name the land they name or they take on the name that was already there. Common sense. Okay. That says America. That says America. That says America. Okay. So if we was Indians, you don't think we was intelligent enough to name this entire landmass India? You don't think that we was intelligent enough to name this entire landmass India? Why would we call it South, Central, and North America? Even over there to Hawaii. Can't forget about Hawaii. Oh yeah, on God. Yeah. Jamaica got a town called Moortown. Yes, sir. Hey, man. Our name, Moor, is in the land. Our name Moor is actually embedded in the land, G. What you mean? What you mean, fam? Our name is embedded in the land. Do you see India anywhere over here? India is over here. See, this how you shut that shit down. India is over here, man. This is where India is at. India is over here. India is over here. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Calcutta. When you talking about over here, you talking about Bombay. You talking about stuff like this, right? Okay, so this is over here. Do you see this name right here? Anywhere over here? No, sir. It's not over here. Our people are super intelligent geniuses. You think we would name a land that we was already on, India, if we was over here calling ourselves Indians? No, sir. And this over here, this ain't even India. You ask anybody over there that's from there, ask them, be like, where you from? They'll be like, I'm from India. And you be like, man, I know you ain't from India. I know you from Hindustan. It's no Indian language. That's another thing. It's no Indian language. They speak Hindu. They don't speak Indian. So how can we be Indians? They don't speak Indian. Feel me? Huh. They don't speak Indian. They speak Hindu. I'm just saying, though. Just saying. So I'm finna slide. Hope y'all got something from this beam out there. I always love building with you Moors out there. I always love building with y'all. Study, study, study. Link up with other Moors in your territory. Link up. The Irish, so-called Irish, was really Moorish. Barbados, Haiti, DR, PR, all the Bodykins out there. All Barbados and all that. Honduras, Guatemala and all that. South America and all that. Belize and all of that. We are Moors though. We brought Europeans here. That's how they able to speak patois and all that. Because they was enslaved over here by us first. Study, 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 Moors. Our self-law and master. Islam.